Strung is a psychological thriller focused on a wealthy family who hired a private music teacher for their daughter. I really wanted to love it, but it missed the mark for me. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, it's Nate. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Strung, the new movie that just came out on Peacock. So if you haven't seen it yet and you do not want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. There will be a brief, no spoiler synopsis right here at the beginning, just in case you want to check that out before you watch the movie. You are about to hear my thoughts on Strung, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like and a hype before you go. So I thought the trailer for this movie was in fact better than the movie itself. Ultimately, the film is, like I said, about a wealthy family who is trying to prepare their daughter slash granddaughter for her solo piano recital. They hired this woman, Layla, who is played by Chloe Bailey, and she's kind of a down and out artist whose dream it is to play for the Philharmonic Orchestra, which is where the cream of the crop people go to play. She always ends up getting this close but not making it. And she's a very talented violinist in her own right, but she can also play the piano. Hence, her being hired to help the little girl with her piano solo. And so right now she's working as a music teacher at what looks like private school or something like that. And so one day she's approached by Audra, played by the legendary Lynn Whitfield, and she offers her a job as a private tutor for her granddaughter, who is a pianist practicing for her solo performance. That's a lot of P's. Now the position requires her to be a live-in piano teacher. And basically, as soon as she starts living with these people, she realizes that this is another situation of rich people being weird as hell. And that's pretty much as far as I can go without spoiling the movie. So if you haven't seen it and you still want to watch it without spoilers, save this video and then watch my review after you see the film. So as I kind of briefly touched on, I did have a bit of a bias going into this film. When I saw the trailer, I definitely was getting Get Out vibes, maybe mixed in with a little bit of The Housemaid, which recently came out this year, I believe. I also read the book, The Housemaid, the first book. I thought it was phenomenal. So I really was kind of expecting a mixture of those two when I saw the trailer for this. In the trailer, in my opinion, you really do think it's going to be some type of dark magic, hallucinogenic, Get Out type of film. And I wish that's what it would have been. And that's not to say that I compare every black thriller to Get Out. Obviously, Get Out is a classic in its own right, even though it's basically a fairly new movie in the grand scheme of things. It's a classic. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. It's a phenomenal piece. I do think that it will go down in history as one of the best thrillers. But I do very much allow each film to be its own. I actually think that's a problem that a lot of people have with Jordan Peele, is that everybody's always comparing anything else he releases to Get Out. So they compare Us to Get Out. They compare Nope to Get Out. And people went into Nope expecting Get Out and they didn't get it and they were like, that sucked. But that's not what I'm doing here. I loved Nope. I thought it was really great. All that to say, even though I expected Strung to be more like Get Out, I'm not saying that the movie was bad because it wasn't like Get Out. I'm saying that the movie was bad because the movie was bad. I really wish that this movie was more finger-bending, body horror-esque. And it just ended up being a highly disappointing and highly disproportionate amount of sex and money. And I think that's why I'm disappointed. And to that point, there were multiple affairs happening in this movie. The husband was sleeping not only with Layla, but with his mother-in-law as well. Why did that need to be in the movie? I understand that the premise was to have her have a one-night stand with Marcus, the husband, so that the wife could find out about it and the wife could be upset. Thus, they could frame Layla because she was a woman scorned, basically. I understand that that's the way that it was wrote out, but I feel like we could have gotten to that point of the story without there needing to be an affair between her and the husband. We briefly see the wife mention that she didn't want to hire anyone.
I didn't want you here, you know. I told them I didn't need help, but Marcus and Mother insisted, so...
Could we not have ran with that story? She's just a mother who's disgruntled because they're calling in help, saying she needs help when she feels like she doesn't, and this new piano teacher is coming in and getting closer to her daughter than she was. Was that not enough? Adding this weird addition of him having an affair with Layla and then Layla finding out that he's having an affair with Audra. It felt messy just for messy's sake. I truly do feel like there was so much potential for this storyline. This little girl walks around with that mask 24/7 damn near because she uses it to kind of mask her pain and uses it as an anxiety reliever when she's feeling anxious, which is pretty much all the time because she lives in a shit show of a household. The mask is creepy. Could we not have leaned more into the mask? We know that the dad was murdered. Before he was murdered, he was writing songs about how everything around him doesn't feel right. We couldn't have leaned into that and said there's a dark force. Maybe, you know, the mother-in-law is putting some type of evil in the air. We couldn't lean more into that side. We had to lean into they're greedy and they want money. I feel like us finding out that he knew they were out to get him, and that part where Layla was listening to his song in the car and we heard those lyrics.
I could tell something off, it don't feel right. I know snakes move in silence, but they will bite. Now if you die in your dreams, you die for real.
They also, unless I completely missed it, never even touched on the fact that he says, and Zuri says, if you die in your dreams, you die for real. That never came up in this movie because there was no magic or dark magic aspect to it. It was such a short part of the film, but it really was everything. This man knew what was happening before it happened. Then again, when we see the husband listening to that tape that Layla found, that little mini, I guess, film tape, when he was listening to that, again, this is the second time we now hear the husband saying, hey, something ain't right. If something happened to me, these people did it.
I wasn't sure until now, but if you're hearing this, maybe I ain't around no more. Something happened to me, and it was Marcus Walker that did it.
Could we not have leaned more into that and like not have the motive be the trust fund? When the maid is first giving Layla the tour of the guest house that she's going to stay in, the maid has what looks like blood on her apron. There's no one actively being murdered in this movie, but that blood was kind of, I guess, in a half-ass way supposed to show us that something sinister is going on in the house. We then later on see the maid saying it's better that Layla leaves the house because eventually this house is going to make you a wicked person.
It's for the best. This place kills you or makes you wicked.
Wicked, it's right there. We couldn't have leaned into the evilness of wicked and maybe witchcraft or voodoo or something. What about this house has a dark force? Who in this house is the dark force driving the wickedness in the house? Why is the wickedness they just want to steal the money? It seems lazy. And then I remembered that this is a Tyler Perry movie. And that's not the shit on Tyler Perry, although people have shit on Tyler Perry and there are reasons to give Tyler Perry a lot of flack for the type of movies that he makes. But I'm not shaking my finger at Tyler Perry. Beauty in Black on Netflix is one of my guilty pleasures. I don't think I'm ever going to cover it on my channel, but I watch every single episode. I binge it. The second I see new episodes drop, I'm binging it back to back because the show is good. Is the acting bad sometimes? Sure. Is that storyline perfection? Yes. Do I want to marry Horace? Hell yes. I think I might also be one of the few people who really loved Acrimony, the Tyler Perry film starring Taraji, one of the Tyler Perry films starring Taraji. I also love Straw. Taraji was in that as well. Tyler Perry does make some good stuff when he puts his mind to it, but Tyler Perry also knows that he be putting out some slop, sans the AI. And if my granny heard me speaking anything bad about Tyler Perry, she probably would put me in timeout because my granny's demographic, you know, grandma-aged black women, love some Tyler Perry. My great-grandmother used to watch him when he was still doing the plays. So let her tell it, he can do no wrong. So I'm not a Tyler Perry hater. So this isn't coming from a place of, ugh, how dare Tyler Perry produce this? It's coming from a place of, Tyler Perry, you can do better when you want to. And the fact that you choose not to do better sometimes pisses me off. Especially when you have such a good cast. Lynn Whitfield. Let's be serious for a second. I think when I watch this film in its entirety, it is very easy to see that this is a Tyler Perry production. The storyline is haphazard. We have such a great foundation, like I said, we could have built off of. It's a violinist. In that trailer, we see her hands all twisted up. There could have been something there. But again, instead we're getting sex, money, and greed. Why has the storyline been watered down to sex, money, and greed? It has so much potential to go into more depth about the evil of the house, and instead we just get this. In addition to me feeling like the storyline often took some unneeded detours, I also just feel like the writing isn't tight. About 25 minutes into the movie, we get this montage basically showing us that the story is progressing without having to shoot the individual scenes to actually play out that progression. So they're just montaging through it.
Breathe and allow the notes to just flow through your fingers.
We see that Layla has become more of a housekeeper for them, an assistant for them. She's bringing the wife green juice. They're having conversations with Audra. So she's kind of being brought into the family in that sense. She's teaching the little girl and her are having a closer bond. But they do it in this montage with music behind it to try to speed through it. And it's because they didn't want to take the time to pace the movie correctly. They wanted to get where they were going and they wanted to get there quickly. I know why we needed to get to that point, but why is the pacing so quickly? A montage scene like that with the quick paced music behind it doesn't feel like it belongs in a thriller. It feels like it belongs in a Tyler Perry movie. I feel like this type of montage is used very often in Tyler Perry movies. He'll show a person leaving their husband, they're getting beat, they're going through hard times, and then we start to see this montage of they're living on the street, they're trying to get jobs, but they're getting denied. They finally land a little bit on their feet, and they're struggling through that. Then they get into an apartment, and then he'll slow it down, and we'll get back into the storyline. Why didn't we watch that play out through? I understand you can't make the movie 3 hours long, but I feel like you could have cut this movie by about 45 minutes and tightened the script up, and it would have been a better movie just based off that alone. You didn't need that fast-paced montage situation. I feel like it cheapened this thriller, if I'm being honest. And as I mentioned, there were other ways to get to the fact that we needed the wife to hate Layla. I would have even taken just knowing that the husband and the mother-in-law were sleeping together. That would have been a twist. We didn't need him to sleep with Layla and Audra. I realize that that's a huge turning point in the story, but why did we take that road to get there? I don't know if these next things fall under cinematography, but that's what I'm gonna place it under because I don't really have another term to use it. But I saw and heard these things in the movies. And I have to be completely honest, it really grinds my gears when I see stuff like this. When the movie first started, I went in excited. I was ready to be fully immersed in this thriller. I was all for it. And then I saw this 10 minutes in.
I'm so proud of you, all right? Hope I get to come back again. Bye.
I can't stand when movies do this. It is so obvious that y'all did a voiceover over this scene because we can literally see, one, that her lips aren't moving to match what's being said. Two, the atmosphere sounds different. So we know that it was recorded separately from that scene. Then they did it again after that.
No, I wish. They hold auditions once a year.
I don't know everything about the film industry, and I can't even say budgets because Tyler Perry got money, baby. So it ain't coming down to the budget. It ain't coming down to none of that. It's not coming down to needing the space because Tyler Perry has his own studio. So it's really not any of that. I don't really know what the excuse is. But isn't something like that, making sure that the audio is good, making sure that the scene was shot correctly, isn't that something you do before you take a film to post-production and start editing? Shouldn't you as the director or whoever, I know Tyler Perry produced and not directed, but he was on the set. Shouldn't you, as someone who's on set and has an eye for how you want this to happen, know that that scene didn't come out right? Shouldn't you be watching as you go? Maybe not. I don't know. That could just be me being naive to the real scope of things, but it seemed very odd to me. But even after I saw that, I was ready to stick beside it because, as I mentioned, the legendary Lynn Whitfield is in this movie. And I see Lynn Whitfield and I watch because I know I'm going to get a hella performance out of her, if nothing else. Icon, legend, baddie. Lynn is going to play the hell out of a villain, okay? Whether the writing is bad or not, she gonna play a villain. And she always gonna play a rich villain at that. Somebody left a comment under the trailer for this movie saying, Lynn ain't never played broke in her life. And don't. She gonna come in with money and she gonna be the villain of the story, and I love that for her. She plays her roles well. So I knew I was going to get something out of her, but then all the other stuff just kind of started bogging it down. Towards the end of the movie, when Layla is crawling through the car, we see her crawling one way in the clip, and then the very next clip, it doesn't line up. It's like they forgot to turn her the appropriate way. And I don't know if I can really explain it. I feel like you just have to be able to see it. So obviously I'm going to have it on the screen, but the way that it was shot when she was coming towards the passenger door and the next shot that we see her in I know that's not shot continuously, but it's not a continuous shot in the sense that that's not a natural progression of how that scene would play out if I was watching it with my own eyes. Meaning that they didn't shoot it congruently, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I don't know how to explain it, but like if you know, you'll see what I'm saying. Her body movement didn't make sense. It's like they skipped a clip in between it. That's such a small detail that one should have been picked up during shooting, but if not, y'all should have fixed that in post-production. Y'all could have just cut off that whole little part and just went straight to her getting out the car. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like little things like that should have been picked up on and should have been rectified. This is not a movie that y'all release. I can't even say Tubi because low-key, Tubi be putting out some bangers sometimes. This isn't just a random movie that y'all are putting out randomly. This is going on Peacock. Have some attention to detail on that, please. And these are two small things, but I do feel like this film has some cliches in it. This first cliche wasn't bad in my opinion, but I definitely think it is a cliche. We have Layla and Marcus have this sort of I'm watching you, watch me from across the room when they're sitting in the diner, and they're kind of making eyes at each other and pretending that they're not seeing each other. And at one point they even start playing music to speak to each other. I thought it was cliche, but I thought it was cute. I did enjoy that. It was very Alicia Keys, you don't know my name, coded. The other cliche that I saw that I didn't like was this whole idea of there's one roommate who's super focused on her studies and she's the good girl and she doesn't sleep around and she doesn't do this. Juxtaposed with the roommate who wants to party.
You're young, you're fine, you're single, and you've been practicing all damn day. One drink.
I feel like that's so overdone. Oh, the goody two-shoes roommate and the party roommate. Okay, we've seen it 20,000 times. Let's see something else. Additionally, I do believe that this film was very second screen at times. If you don't know what that means, very quickly, it just means that when the movie is being written, when the movie is being shot and all of that, they do it while keeping in mind that most people are going to be scrolling on their phones while they're watching, meaning that they might miss things. So you need to explicitly say it over and over and over again because you're going into it assuming that no one's really paying attention. 2 times they did this that was really frustrating to me was One, explaining how Layla's sister died. I don't think we needed her to outwardly say, my little sister had asthma and this is how she died. I think it was very clear from the fact that her sister had blue lips, from the fact that her sister was breathing heavily. I think we can kind of put 2 and 2 together if you're paying attention, that her sister died from an asthma attack. I didn't need that to be explicitly said to me. That's kind of a minor one, but it still frustrated me. Secondly, is when they had Audra explain the entire plot of the movie, an hour and 30 minutes into the movie.
It's simple. You were obsessed with Marcus and slept with him under the same roof of his pregnant wife. And when he finally rebuffed you, you lost control and tried to attack her.
Why the hell did I just spend an hour and 30 minutes watching this if you're just gonna give me the plot in your villain speech? Trust that your audience is paying attention and that they're gonna be able to piece the story together and that they know how it played out. You don't need to tell me every little detail about the plot of the movie. I just watched the movie. I will admit though, I thoroughly enjoyed watching Audra get smashed by that chandelier like she was the Wicked Witch of the North getting smashed by a house. I was like, now that was a good part of the movie. But then if you watch a little bit past the credits, you see that she's being brought out of the house on a stretcher, not a body bag, meaning she probably survived this. Back to the storyline, like we could have talked about why she's surviving, that there's a dark force surrounding her maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, there was more that could have been done. Why is she still alive? She just got not only hit with a bunch of glass, but her face got sliced. She's bleeding. Why is she still alive? I need to know why, but they're not going to tell me. Y'all going to do a sequel? She going to come back trying to get more money? Like, where does the character go from here? It goes nowhere. All in all, it felt so Tyler Perry coded to make it about sex and money. Give me something else. I beg you to give me something else. I had high hopes on this film after seeing the trailer, and I was pretty much disappointed 10 minutes into the movie. But if you have already seen it, I want to hear your thoughts on it. Did you think the pacing was good? Did you like the storyline? What did you think? I am definitely looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this, or just letting me know if you want to check it out or not. I do love horror movies. I've mentioned briefly before that I'm looking to add more horror movies to my channel regularly. I do have some stuff coming up in October. Yes, I'm already thinking about October. I'm a planner. I plan way ahead for my content. So I have some fun stuff coming up in October, but I am trying to slowly infuse things throughout the year. It's just kind of hard right now because Love Island is taking up all of my time. But I just wanted to put this out because the second that I saw this movie was coming out, like I said, I saw the trailer and I hopped on it. I was really excited, ultimately to be disappointed, but that's pretty much it on it. Let me know what y'all thought of the movie and or my video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!